Hello everybody, today a video in English, which is not my native language, but oh well, let's try. So we are here today to play D20 Dungeons. What is this game? Well, it is a game that is currently in early access on Steam, and I think it's a game which is really underrated. I mean, it's not a bad game at all. It's a pretty good game. And when you look at the store page on Steam, you will see that the game has been on early access for 6 months now. And there are only 4 reviews on Steam, which is really not a lot. There are not a lot of discussions on the forum. So I think the game didn't sell well, and it's really a pity because, well, it's a pretty good game. So what is D20 Dungeons? It's in its current state, it's a pretty simple game. You can view it as a kind of tabletop game based on the D&D 3.75 OGL rules, which are rules that a lot of people know. And it really plays like a tabletop. You will see your party in dungeons, and you view the action from above. So the game is in 2 dimensions, and the characters are represented by tokens, monsters too, and it plays turn-based. But let's see. The first thing, it is a game based on Dungeons and Dragons rules, as I said. So the first thing you may want to do is create a new game. And here you have 2 options. The second option is the way you want your characters to advance: slowly, fast, normal. I will say normal. And then the campaign type. This decides the amount of stat points you have when you create characters. With low fantasy, I think you have 10 stat points. Standard fantasy, you have 15 stat points. High fantasy 20, and epic 25. So for example, let's take high fantasy, and here you are on the screen where you have to choose your party. So there are several pre-made characters: a druid, a barbarian, a wizard, a fighter, a cleric, ranger, monk, sorcerer, bard, paladin, rogue. Okay, but most people don't use pre-made characters, so you can also create yours. And this is where you're gonna see something which you will always see on this game. The interface is not very graphic. What I mean is, when you take a look at it, there are, I mean, you see sheets of numbers here. You see, it's not really graphic. For example, the equipment, here is the inventory. As you can see, it might not seem clear at first. So first of all, you choose the race of your character. Here you click on the small cogwheel and you can enter the name. So let's say we have Valandriel. Okay. You can pick a class. The class will be picked here. The experience, you have 0. Next level 0, because, well, your character wasn't created yet. The alignment, you can choose whatever you want. The deity, you can type the name of the god you wish to follow. Okay, this is purely cosmetic. Homeland, same here. Okay. The race, you currently have dwarf, elf, gnome, half elf, half orc, halfling, and human. This is something like D&D 3.5. So I usually go for humans. Why? Because they have an extra feat at level 1. They have +2 to 1 ability score. Sometimes And especially when I want to create a sorcerer, I will go for a halfling because +2 charisma, +2 dex. That is something interesting for a sorcerer or even for a bard. Might want this for a bard too. -2 strength. Well, if you have someone who uses, let's say a bard, what weapon are you going to give your bard? Most probably a crossbow. So the strength doesn't matter. Same for your sorcerer, and dex and charisma are very important for these two classes, so it can be interesting. For the rest, well, the gnome has got some constitution and charisma but loses strength, which could also be another option for both the sorcerer and the bard. I mean, these are really two classes that can benefit from having these two races, halflings and gnomes. For the rest, well, I'm not quite sure. I mean, dwarves have constitution and wisdom, but they lose charisma. I mean, even clerics like to have some charisma, so it's pretty meh, you know, even for a cleric. I'm not quite sure. Well, so you choose the race, okay. Let's say we want a human. Size, sex, well, gender, I mean in English, yeah, gender. You can choose a height and a weight and a hair color and an eyes color. It doesn't, I mean, it has no importance in the game, but still you can customize your character. Here you have the racial traits. You have skilled, okay, so you have 1 additional skill rank at first level, and every time you gain level. And you have the bonus feat for the humans. We could choose it, but we don't want to choose it for the moment because we don't even have a class. So next thing, you pick up your class. So what class do we want? We have all these classes: barbarian, bard, cleric, druid, fighter, monk, paladin, ranger, rogue, sorcerer, wizard. All classic classes from D&D 3.5, so I'm not going to introduce you to all these classes. I mean, I guess that most of you who are watching this video know this system very well, so let's say we pick a fighter. Okay, you have to choose a favored bonus, either +1 hit points or +1 skill ranks. This is a combat focused game. In this game you are going to fight, and you are going to fight and fight because this game is a kind of a dungeon crawler. You will be in town and you will speak to an NPC to start an adventure, and there are for the moment 3 types of adventures. The arena, it's a fight against a group of enemies, okay. You have a dungeon, which is a pre-made dungeon, but it will be populated by random mobs. Or you have roguelike adventure, which is a random dungeon with random monsters. But you won't do anything else than fighting on this game. Well, at least for the moment. So the skill ranks, I don't care about them. On the other hand, hit points, they are important, because when you fight and fight and fight, you want as many hit points as you can get. So next thing, there will be a bonus feat for a fighter, okay. Now we choose the ability scores. We have a fighter. We don't care about intelligence and charisma because it's not a role-playing experience, it's more of a tabletop. We want to get strength +2. Let's say, for example, we want to get 13 dex and as much constitution as we can. As you can see here, the game tells you the amount of points you have. So I could go to 18 con, but that wouldn't work. So let's say I do that, and I have 2 extra points, so I can even put wisdom 12 because that will give me more. Well, that will give me a +1 bonus to willpower save. This is a solid fighter. Okay. Now the skills. There are a lot of skills on this game. See, a lot of knowledge, dungeoneering, engineering, geography, history, local nature, nobility, planes. Yeah, very interesting. Religion too. You have a lot of perform skills, comedy, act, dance, keyboard instruments, oratory. Yeah, this is a combat focused game, so all this we don't care. A very useful skill is heal, and I will add a point into heal. Why? Because heal is used when you try to stabilize an ally who has fallen, and when you try to stabilize an ally you have to make a heal check with DC. I don't know, usually it's about 15 DC, so you appreciate to have a couple points in heal. Okay, I only had one skill rank because, you know, 7 intelligence. Well, skills not my thing. And then you choose the equipment you want. You start as a fighter with 175 gold pieces, so you choose an armor, a weapon, gear, etc. Let's say I want to use a long sword. Yeah, long sword. I will put it in my primary hand. Let's say I want to buy myself a backpack, because it's always good to have a backpack, not in the offhand but carried. I'll put my gold there. Okay, now let's say I want to buy myself a shield. Let's say this heavy wooden shield, +2 armor class. You see, armor check penalty -2. I mean, it has the same stats as this heavy steel shield, but it's lighter and it's cheaper. So why would I take the steel shield when the wooden shield works just the same, right? There's no reason. Well, I will put this in shield. And then an armor. I have 151 gold pieces. What can I get myself? A chainmail? Yeah, why not? I mean, I currently have dex 13, which means max dex bonus +2. Yeah. Anyway, my dex bonus is +1. So I want the heaviest armor I can offer. And I would like to buy myself a full plate, for example, or a banded mail, something like that. They are too expensive, so I'll go with a chainmail, and that's okay. And I've got 1 gold piece, and there's something important in this game which I will try to buy. It's a lamp, because you know you like to have a lamp, because everybody knows that adventuring requires to have torches. You see, you can buy torches. Lamps last for 6 hours, I think. Torches 1 hour. So we'll buy a lamp. Okay. Lamp common. It provides normal light in 15-foot radius, increases the light level by 1 step for an additional 15 feet beyond that. It burns for 6 hours. Okay, now I've got my stuff. And now you're gonna tell me, okay, yeah, that's good, but where do you choose the feats? And that is just the small concern I have with the character creation screen, because so far it's not bad. I mean, it's not graphical at all, but it's not bad. The problem is there is no tab for feats. If you want to choose feats, you have to browse through the tabs, because the feats are scattered between tabs. So for example, the bonus feat for humans is in the class, is in the race tab, you see. Okay, so let's say I want to take power attack because I want to get cleave. Okay, power attack. Now in the classes tab, you have here a bonus feat for the fighter. Okay, so I want cleave, and here in the fighter tab you have all that you have to choose. For example, here is the feat for level 1. And I want to take either dodge or weapon focus, and I will go, for example, for weapon focus. to get +1 bonus to the attack bonus, which is always a good thing. Okay, and now I can ask finish. If here I want, let's say I don't choose anything. Okay, if there's something I don't choose, well, it works. That's weird. If there's something you forget, the game, when you click finish, the game will tell you, let's say create character, you try to finish, it will tell you, you see. And if you forgot to pick a feat at some point, the game will tell you, no, ability scores not assigned, feat missing, etc. So the game will tell you that something is missing, and sometimes it's just a feat that you have to choose here in the race tab, for example, and you see you have to browse through all the tabs to see what is lacking. Well, okay, now this is how you create a character. One character is required. Okay, I don't know, because I'm not interested. I want to load a game where I've created my own characters. So this game. So here is the game. As you can see, there is this view from above in 2D. Characters, NPCs, monsters are all represented by tokens. So here is my party and I am in town. Here are the NPCs, because in town you don't wander around. Well, you can walk around, but the only interactions are with these 4 NPCs. You have the vendor, you can buy or sell stuff. So here is what you can buy. For example, let's say you want to buy a wand of cure light wounds. Okay, it's 750 gold pieces. That is a lot of gold. You have the innkeeper. You can sleep one night or sleep until healed. Okay, because during the dungeons you cannot sleep. So when you go out of a dungeon, before going into another dungeon, you really have to think about sleeping, because otherwise your casters will have no spells in your new dungeon. You have the barracks. The barracks allow you to change your party setup. I could create more characters or use the pre-made characters. Okay. And the last NPC is adventures. So even when you're in town, the game is turn-based. On top here you see the portraits and HP bar of all my party members. Everybody in my party is level 1. We have Landrill, who is a fighter, who fights with sword, shield and full plate armor. We have Kivan, who is a fighter too, but Kivan is an archer. Well, where can we see? Yeah, in the court. As you can see, I put a lot of dex and a lot of strength for him too, because he's using a composite longbow, so he benefits from the strength bonus. Not a bad character. We have Landrill, who is fully into melee combat. Safana, who is a bard. She plays the role of a rogue. In skills, I gave her points in disable device. So far, I haven't seen any trap or any locked door. But oh well, I like to have people with disabled device. We have Claire, who is a cleric. Nice wisdom, a bit of strength and constitution, because she's going to fight in melee. And we have Edwin the Sorcerer, with a lot of charisma and constitution. Okay, so we have these characters, and now let's say I want to adventure. So I speak to the NPC about adventures, and there are three paths, as I said: the arena, dungeons, or roguelike. Start a randomly generated dungeon. Choose from a list of dungeons, static dungeons, that will be randomly populated, or the arena. If you want the arena, you can change, you choose the map. We can fight in the lair, in the crypt, in the cavern. Let's say we will fight in the cavern. Why not? They are called, yeah, cavern. That's it. And what kind of enemies do we want? Each kind of enemy has a challenge rating. For the moment, all my party members are level 1. What are we going to do? Let's add a goblin. With a goblin, the difficulty will be easy. Let's say we want 2 goblins. Let's say we want a kobold, a skeleton. We have these 4 monsters. The game says the difficulty is average. I mean, the CR is 1/3 for goblins and skeleton. So with 3 of them, you have a global challenge rating of 1, and with this kobold, you have 1.25. I mean, if I add another skeleton, that will be a challenge rating of 2, right? But let's go with this fight. Difficulty average. Okay, let's fight. And now we will see how the game plays. As you can see, it's pitch black. Yes, because this is Dungeons and Dragons, and one thing about Dungeons and Dragons is you need torches. I know usually video games don't force you to use torches. There's a lot of light in dungeons if you play Baldur's Gate or that kind of stuff. But on this game, you need some light. The first person who plays is displayed here. This is the initiative order. My bard, Safana, is to play. On this game, when you want to perform an action, whatever the action, you have to right click and then you choose the action you want. You can move, you can attack, you can use a bardic performance, you can use feats, spells, skills, actions, effects, and turn. So far, I want to use spell level 0, light. And I'm going to cast light. The question is on whom? And I will cast light on Valandril. So Valandril will be a source of light for the party. Okay, that's good. Now I've cast the spell. I could move. I just want to end my turn. Now it's my cleric, Claire. We're going to do the same. I'm going to cast light on herself. Because this game has something special which you can't see for the moment, and I think I'm gonna try to move Claire to show you. So I move her. As you can see, it really plays like a tabletop game. So you see around Claire, we can see what's in her line of sight. Okay? Okay. Now we're gonna end her turn, and it will be Valandril's turn. And now look. You see there? Things changed. Why did they change? Because on this game, and I think this is a fantastic idea, it's a strange idea at first, but I think it's a great idea. Every time a character is selected, the only thing that is displayed on the screen is what these very characters can see. Which means, if now Claire had been in another room over there, she'll be out of line of sight. Valandril could absolutely not know, and then he could not see what happens around Claire. Because if you play other tabletop games adapted to the PC, for example, Gloomhaven, when you play Gloomhaven, you always see, always have an overview of the board. So you can see all the rooms all the time. I mean, all the discovered rooms, you can see what happens in them. On this game, no. The character who is selected can only see what he can actually see. So for example, Valandrel is moving. Yeah, let's moving. You see, he has discovered some stuff there. And it's monsters here. Valandrel has discovered a room with 2 goblins, a skeleton, and a kobold. And you can zoom in to check the tokens. This token is a kobold. This is a goblin, this is a goblin, this is a skeleton. You will also see that different tokens have different sizes, because monsters have different sizes. And sometimes big monsters will try to get into small corridors, and they can do it, but they will have to suffer a debuff to their chance to hit and to their armor class if they do so, which is an excellent implementation of the rules. I mean, this game really uses the rules very, very well. It's an excellent example of how to use the rules of Dungeons and Dragons seriously. So, Valandrel, he can see all this. Okay, now you see there are these monsters, and on the right part of the screen there's this tab, and this tab, I didn't talk about it yet. This tab is a log of what happens, and it's a log of all that happens. It is not reset when you start a new dungeon, so you can see the end of the log of my previous dungeon, because it's not the first dungeon of this party. So what happens is that the kobold here attacked Valandrel with his sling. He made an attack roll of 20, which is incredible because he rolled a 19. Rolled a 19, that's a lot. He's got a BAB of 1. He's small, so he's at +1, but he's in range, so -2, and with his dex he has +1. So the log is really, really very well done. So he rolled a 20, but I have 22 armor class because I've got full plate armor. So too bad, he missed. Okay, now every time you spot enemies, the game freezes and say the name of the character, enemy spotted. So you can see the enemy, you can study their position. Okay, ask to exit. Now we know we have monsters here, and the monsters are walking towards me because they move according to their initiative order. Oh, someone shot Valandrel. It's a goblin who used his short bow versus Valandrel. He rolled an attack roll of 4. I have 21 armor class. That was not a lot. Now it is Claire again. So Claire is going to move. When you move, okay, Claire has spotted the enemies. When you move, as you can see, sometimes some squares are deep blue, some squares are light blue. On this game, it is usual 3 or 5 rules, which mean that you have movement action, and if you move less than a certain amount of steps, you can attack. We will see. She has moved too much. She can't attack anymore. Let's end turn. We'll see with our next character, Kivan. As you can see, Kivan is selected, but he can't even see himself. Yes, there's no source of light around him, so he can't see himself. But he can see over there because they are sources of light. Kivan, if I choose move, as you can see, there are some deep blue squares and some light blue squares. If I move and I remain in deep blue squares, Kievan will still have the right to attack once after his movement. If I move into a light blue square, it means that I have moved more than my basic move action. So I have started a second move action for the round. And you can't perform 2 move actions plus 1 attack action. It's not possible. So if I want to be able to attack, let's say I want to go there. Now I can right click and I can still attack with composite longbow on this skeleton. He has 4 hit points. I hit for 3 hit points. However, the skeleton still has 4 hit points out of 4. Why is that? Well, skeletons have damage reduction against arrows. As you can see, I rolled an attack roll of 18. He's got 16 armor class. I rolled 1 for my damage roll, which is pretty bad, but well, that dealt 3 damage. With his damage reduction, he didn't lose hit points. Okay, now next character, it's my Sorcerer. My Sorcerer, same thing. I want him to move to get closer to the action. And what if I want to use a spell? Let's say I want to use Magic Missile. Take this, skeleton. Well, the Magic Missile did 5 damage. The skeleton received 5 damage. And he doesn't have any damage reduction versus magic missiles. So he received 5 damage. Now his hit points are -1 out of 4. It's dead. Okay. Logically, a target whose hit points are negative will not die until these hit points reach -10. Let's say it's a kobold and his hit points are -1. The kobold will not be dead, he will be dying, which means every round he's gonna have to make a saving throw, fortitude, I think, saving throw, and if he fails that throw, he loses 1 hit point. And until he dies, any other monster can come and stabilize him. Well, that skeleton cannot be stabilized because skeletons, once they reach negative hit points, they're dead. Definitely dead. So, Edwin, good job, guy. You one-shot the skeleton. Fantastic. As you can see, we know that there are here 2 goblins in this room, but we still can't see them. I mean, Edwin can't see them, at least. And now it's Safana again. So, Safana, you are the bard. So, we would like you to use your bardic performance. And we want you to inspire courage. So, as you can see, her allies benefit from Inspire Courage. Inspire Courage is a buff that gives +1 to attack roll and +1 to damage, and maybe +1 to armor class. Not quite sure, I have to check. So, Safana, can you do something else? You could attack with a spear. Fortunately, you can't attack with a spear right now because there's no one to attack. So you can end your turn. The kobold used his sling against Claire. Attack roll 4, which is really bad. And then he moved to come to melee range. And now it's Valandril again. Valandril, what are you gonna do? Well, you're gonna go here and try to kick his ass. But you miss. He's got 15 armor class, you rolled 13 attack. Life sucks. Now the goblins are moving. Once again, every time an enemy enters your line of sight, you see all around this enemy, and you have to press exit, ESC to exit. So this goblin shot me, missed. The second goblin shot me and hit me. He rolled a 20 as attack roll, which is not a good idea. So Claire could heal Valandril. She could make a 5-foot move, which is a typical movement that doesn't use an action on these rules, and we could go for Cure Light Wounds. So she's gonna heal 1d8 plus 1 hit points. Let's hope it's not 2 hit points. No, it's 6 hit points. Perfect. Valandril is fully healed. Okay, Kivan, you're an archer, so now you are going to attack with your longbow on this kobold. You hit for 3 damage. Yeah, it's the second time you hit and the second time you roll a 1 for your damage. This is really bad, and I can't attack anymore. I could move, but I don't need to move. Edwin. So Edwin, we need you to cast another magic missile. Try to kill this kobold, please. I dealt 3 damage. So now the kobold has negative hit points, -1 out of 5. As you can see, that gave him a list of debuff. It's a good thing. I like how this game displays buffs and debuffs on top of all the tokens. So this kobold has dying, unconscious, prone, and helpless. So dying, he will have to make a constitution check every round, and he has a penalty on his roll equal to his negative hit points. If he fails this check, he loses 1 hit point. Okay, he is unconscious, he can't act, he's prone, he's lying on the ground, and he is helpless, which is a debuff you get when you are paralyzed, held, bound, or whatever. You cannot benefit from your dex bonus to armor class when you're helpless. Okay, good job, mage. Good job, Edwin, with your magic missiles. You did some good job. Okay, now our bard. As you can see, the bard stopped her bardic performance because you have to take this action at every round. So I say continue, but you have to select it on every round. And now you could use spells. You have sleep. Could you make this goblin to sleep? Oh, what happened? She just skipped her turn. Oh, that's weird. I guess I used the keyboard and I shouldn't have. Well, Valandril, attack this goblin. 7 hit points. Perfect. They have 6 hit points, so he's dying too. Now there's only 1 goblin left, and now Valandril, you can even move, and you can get close to this goblin. The goblin attacks Valandril and misses him, which is pretty nice. Now Claire, you can move, and you can try to attack with your heavy mace this goblin, and you deal 10 damage. Oh my god, that was a lot of damage. The goblin is defeated. You see, Claire, attack roll 16. He has armor class 16. So, she almost missed him, but the damage, oh my god. Okay. Now you can end your turn. Apparently we have one. Oh, this one is stable. Could you shoot him, please? Yeah, he has minus 11 hit points. He's dying. I think he should be dead by now, but oh well. Try to finish him with a magic missile. Okay, now he's dead. Okay, perfect. Ah, okay. Casting sleep required 1 round. Oh well, it sucks. It's too late to cast sleep now. Too bad you didn't attack before. You can attack with a spear. Will pierce, and you will attack this one, and you will kill this one. Okay. Now Valandril, could you please finish off our last enemy. Okay, he's dead. However, the dungeon isn't over yet. Do we have more enemies? Come, Kivan. We always need an archer, you know. Oh, the sorcerer is so far away. The reason I don't like to create halfling sorcerers is halflings are small and they have a penalty to their movement range. They can't move as many hexes or squares. In that case, these are squares and not hexes, but they can't move as much as the other races. Just tell me, guys, if there's someone over here or if it's just because I have to exit the dungeon. One thing that is strange is even if you don't see where you're going, as you can see, I can still go over there. I know that a path is possible over there, but I can't see what is over there. It's a strange idea. I think somehow it works. This game works fine. I mean, it's a really good, for me, it's a really good board game. As you can see, there's no more enemy. We've killed them all, so I think we have to exit the dungeon. So we'll try to exit the dungeon and see what happens. You please cast light on yourself. And move over there, and you will exit the dungeon. And here we are, it's a victory! We earned 1000 experience points and 190 gold pieces. Yeah, great, fantastic! Now I'm back in town. And first thing I do is sleep until healed. Because you want to sleep, because you need to recover your spells. And now I gained 190 gold, which is not a lot. Really. And I gained 1000 XP, but it's 1000 XP total. My characters had 335, yes, 335, that's it, experience before this dungeon, so they gained 202 XP each in this dungeon. The next level is at 2000, so as you can see, we're still very far away from level 2, but it's the second dungeon that these characters do. The first dungeon was not an arena, but it was a roguelike dungeon. Roguelike dungeons are pretty tough. When you create a roguelike dungeon, the guy asks you the difficulty. Easy, average, challenging, hard, epic. Even average can be extremely tough. So I advise you not to choose too hard in the beginning. Now I gained some gold. The gold is shared between your characters. If you go to the inventory, see he has platinum pieces, 16 platinum, which is 160 gold. It's got 170 gold, 38, 38, 38, and 38. Because it's our share of the loot, everyone got 38 gold. So we could gather all the gold, so that 38, 4 times 38, which is 142 gold, and with his gold I could have 312 gold pieces if I gather all the gold. And now I can say, okay, I've got 300 gold, what can I buy? I could buy myself, for example, a banded mail. See, that would be a good option. That would be a good option for our cleric, because our cleric I'm not quite sure though. She has a dex bonus. No, she doesn't have a dex bonus, so she better use another armor. You know, she better use half plate. Half plate armor is the best for her, or full plate. Even full plate would be the best. It's 500 gold. So for the moment, what am I gonna do? Just nothing. Just gonna wait and keep my gold. And when I can buy her a full plate, I'll buy her a full plate. And that's great. So this is how D20 Dungeon plays. It is a pretty simple game, but it works very, very well. As you can see, I only chose an arena because it's the fastest way to play this game. I could have chose, as I said, a dungeon, which could have been fast if I had been lucky enough to find the exit quickly, but it could have been very, very long or difficult. So I chose a pretty easy battle and quick battle just to show you how the game plays. So there are a couple things that could be improved. For example, the fact that whatever you want to do, you have to right click and choose in the menu. You want to move, you can't just click on the square where you want to go. No, you have to right click, click move, and then click on the square where you want to move. Or a keyboard shortcut. Maybe there are keyboard shortcuts, but I'm not aware of it. And a keyboard shortcut for the movement would be interesting. Same goes for the attack. When you want to attack a target, you can't just, for example, right click on that target. No, you have to right click somewhere else, choose attack, single attack or full attack, choose the weapon you want to use, and then you can click on your target. It takes several clicks to do any action, and I think this could be improved with shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts, or just some buttons on the screen. But globally, apart from this, I think it's a game that works fine. As you can see, the rules are properly implemented. They work fine. The dungeons could use more furniture, because when you go into a roguelike dungeon, the dungeon is empty. There's no bed or table or whatsoever. It's just rooms and corridors, and that's all, and mobs inside, and that's all. So yes, we could appreciate to have some furniture in order to have something more that feels more alive. But I mean, my concerns about this game are really minor concerns. This game works fine, it is interesting, the rules are good, the RNG system seems pretty good. I never had a problem of missing more than I should. And that is good, because many games tend to have a bad RNG system, and when they say, oh, you have 90% chance to hit, actually you only have 50% chance. On this game, no, I don't have this problem with D20 Dungeons. So all in all, it's a good experience, and I really hope this game will sell well. I really like the way your characters only see what is in their own line of sight. This is something that could be incredibly great in multiplayer. However, the dev said he will only try to add multiplayer if the game sells well enough. And so far, I'm not quite sure the game sells well enough, and it's a pity, because it's really it's a good game all in all. The only thing you can ask yourself when buying this game is, what is the goal of this game? And I have to admit, for the moment, there's no real goal in the game. You can do random dungeons, you can do arenas, you can level up, buy some stuff. That's great. And for the moment, you are limited to level 4, I think, with your characters. Okay. This will change in the future, of course. But what else? I mean, so far, the game doesn't really have a purpose. So I'm waiting to see what will be the actual goal of the game in the future. But as it is now, it is a good board game. Really, a good combat simulator or dungeon crawling simulator with Dungeons and Dragons rules. So it's fine, it's fine. But I really hope there will be multiplayer one day, because this game in multiplayer will surely be really fun, because you can't see what your companions see. So if you don't have a good communication, it can lead to pretty funny situations. Dramatic situations too, but pretty funny. So that was D20 Dungeon, a small view on the gameplay of the game, because I browsed YouTube and I didn't see any real video about the gameplay of this game, and it's a shame. Really, it's a good game. So, well, I hope you enjoyed it, and goodbye.